Good morning, everybody, or afternoon. It's 12:15 here in New York City. I am in the shadow of the Empire State Building just by the East River, and it is so great to see everybody here. I'm Shelly Palmer, and this is Web3 Wednesday. We are here. It has been, I think every week I start this off by saying it has been a week and a half. Chat is where it's at. So if you're here and you're listening and you're going to spend some time with us today, please tell us who you are, tell us where you are. And it's an Ask Me Anything Wednesday. So put all your questions in chat and we will try to get to them as best we can. You know that we do keep all of our conversations going all week long on Discord. So discord.gg/Shelly Palmer, or just the Discord server there will be great. So anyway, what else is going on? Oh, yeah, I always have to tell you guys this. If you're here, tweet something. Tweeting is good. Tweeting is good for everybody, at Shelly Palmer. I know Elon's doing some nutty stuff on Twitter, but, come on. Twitter's still like Twitter, isn't it? Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see what else is going on today that I want to tell you about. Oh, I'm remiss. I did not bring up the most important thing about today. Well, maybe not the most important, but the fun thing. Of course, we have a new POAP for today. POAP is a proof of attendance protocol token. You get yours by going to shellypalmer.com/POAP, POAP, for proof of attendance protocol token. And if you collect 5 of these, you get to come to all of our Cool Kids meetings. We're going to have great stuff going on at CES in January, a new conference called the Possible Conference at the Fontainebleau in April, a marketing conference, Mobile World Congress, and South by, and all the others. So we also do some stuff in various cities. So please, get your POAP, collect a bunch, and see if you can join us. Apple had made an announcement, or sort of a rumor mill announcement yesterday. It wasn't Apple. It was the rumor mill made an announcement yesterday about Apple's mixed reality headsets, which is supposed to be coming out now somewhere in the first quarter, possibly second quarter of 2023, just a few months out. It is supposed to have 10 cameras in it. It's supposed to have the highest quality or highest resolution screen ever put in a pair of mixed reality or virtual reality goggles. No one quite knows what it's going to look like exactly, but there are rumors about the SDK getting ready, that the software is coming up. Reality OS is going to be the name of the software, so the SDK is going to be gettable pretty soon. I'm really excited about this. I mean, super, super, super excited. There's just nothing more interesting than how all of the stuff we're talking about the last couple of weeks is going to intersect and interact with hardware from companies like Apple, with all of the generative AI going on and all of the new kind of ways that you can create on the fly from text descriptions. Part of this entire world of mixed reality is going to include things that are created either very close to real time or in real time, or stored and cached, created and cached based on your behaviors, and then selected based on the input that you it should be really, really, really interesting. So I'm excited about that. Here's a question. Let's see if we can put this guy up on the screen. Is Elon looking for CEO? You should apply. Janet B. Okay, Janet B. Yeah. Wow. I did see that. It just came over the wire that he's looking for a new CEO. He testified in a shareholder lawsuit earlier today that he was going to spend less time at Twitter, and that's really all I know. I wasn't in court. I read the same news releases everybody else read, but apparently Elon has testified in court that he's going to spend less time running Twitter. So I don't think I'm applying for that CEO job. One of the things I think is disgusting, to be fair, and I can say this with a full degree of arrogance, is that talking about the richest guy in the world, the way he's been running this company is horrifying. It's atrocious, and people who are being abused at work. He's done things like telling people if they don't show up and work 24 hours a day, they're getting fired. It's like, if you're a quality of engineer to work at Twitter, you basically should get up and walk out of there. I mean, it's easy to go get a job when you are a world-class engineer. It's easy to go get a gig right now. And it maybe not be for pre-recession money, but you don't need to take that kind of abuse. And by the way, if you are good enough to work at Twitter and you're an engineer and you're hearing this, send us a note. We are always looking for awesome engineers. Awesome engineers are awesome, and we do not treat our staff, employees, workers, colleagues, friends, independent contributors, independent contractors like dogs, or actually worse than dogs. We treat you like our friends, like people, and our colleagues like people. And I think that's a lesson Elon should learn. That is just a horrible thing. The number of people I have heard who've been summarily dismissed in a pretty untoward, horrifying way just sucks. Okay, now, everybody, questions, please, in chat, because that's where you ask questions. Chat is where it's at, I guess. Tell me where you are. Tell me what you're doing. I see Alan Mostow and Thor Johnson and Lynn Burkholder. And yeah, welcome, everybody. Frank Quinn, you're back. Hey, nice to see you. And yeah, so please, just tell us where you are. Yeah, Bill, most people do treat their dogs better than people. That's why I corrected myself. I realized that dogs are awesome. I have 2 grand dogs. I love them. So yeah, I actually may treat them better than some people I know, and I'm kind of ashamed to say that out loud. All right, just not for nothing, we do Tech Stream every Tuesday. It drops. It's me and Seth Everett. Seth Everett, the awesome Seth Everett. We talk about the pop culture that everybody loves, and of course the tech that you absolutely dream about. What tech are we dreaming about right now? I don't know. I think the tech is starting to dream about us. I think there's an awful lot of crazy going on with respect to generative AI and augmented and artificial intelligence in general. It is really getting to be interesting. Today this morning I wrote, I just have to talk about this for 1 second, and then we'll go on to other topics that are maybe more Web3 oriented, although this might point to a Web3 issue, a good one, to be fair. This morning, there was a CNN wrote an article, or had an article, that they had intercepted an internal memo from Meta, formerly Facebook, talking about content moderation. I actually should read you the quote, because I shouldn't just quote this from memory. I shouldn't paraphrase this. I should take it right out of, literally right off the blog, which is where I put it. Let me just read this to you directly. Apologize, I should have had it ready, but I think it's better to read than it is to just paraphrase. So, quote, political speech is ineligible for fact-checking. This is at Meta, formerly Facebook. This includes the words a politician says, as well as photo, video, or other content that is clearly labeled as created by the politician or their campaign. And the memo was in absolute direct response to a request by Meta's content moderation staff for guidance. You look at what Twitter's done. They've fired most of their content moderation team. And you get Facebook saying, well, we're not going to do anything because we can't touch anything. Where's that leave us? Where does that leave us? So I posed a challenge in this morning's email, in my morning kind of rant, and I said, all right, take off your political hat for a moment. Like, let's lose because that goes nowhere quickly. Put on your data science hat for a minute. Everybody here is really smart, and everybody here knows all about data-driven decision-making. We live in a world of data-driven decisions, and most of the marketers today deeply understand data-driven marketing. Everything is evidence-based, and of course, you try to measure and optimize for the best outcomes. What is the method you would choose, assuming you had in your mind a sense of what is fair and what you would want to see in a news feed on social media? So with that in your mind, not my vision of it, not someone else's vision of it, your vision of it, what you would expect the best, most fair, most balanced, to use those terms in their English language definition, newsfeed you can imagine. Now, I challenge you to the following. In plain English, just normal words, no jargon, no tech, no knowing whether something is possible or impossible. The only thing you have to know is that you can do the following process by hand by yourself. You take 100 random social media posts, tweets, whatever, and now you're going to sort them into acceptable and unacceptable. To you, not to me, to you. Then, I want to go the next level. I want you to find the buckets that they could sit in. Needs a warning. Should be flagged, as suspect. The person should be warned, don't do that anymore. The person should have their post deleted because it's just completely wrong. And of course, the worst part of this and the most extreme punishment is you violated your, not Facebook's, not Twitter's, your personal terms and conditions, whatever they may be, and they're being banned from the platform pending either further review or just forever. You can create those buckets any way you want. You can lay out the criteria any way you want. Now I challenge you to create a process that you as an individual can do. I'll give you an example of what I mean by process. My very, 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 very first day, 7th grade computer programming class, Memorial Junior High School, Huntington, Long Island. The teacher holds up a can, an empty can, of frozen orange juice concentrate. And he says, I'm going to teach all of you how to computer program today. And you're all going to be expert programmers by the time class is over. This class was 45 minutes. I had no idea how this was going to go down. He said, everybody, this is a can of frozen orange juice concentrate. Back in the old days, you used to take this concentrate stuff, throw it in a pitcher, add some water to it, and poof, there was orange juice. Reconstituted, but from concentrated orange juice in a frozen can. The teacher said to us, I want you to each write down the step-by-step instructions for how this can of frozen orange juice concentrate is going to become a pitcher of orange juice. There are absolutely no other rules. Please just do that. You have 10 minutes. And he said, as I just said to you, no jargon, no tech terms, just do it. There are 24, 25 kids in the class with me, and we all just diligently sat down and started to write our idea of how to make a can of frozen orange juice concentrate into a pitcher of orange juice. And then the most important lesson I have ever learned, this is not hyperbole, ever learned about human nature, human beings, and worldviews was demonstrated to me in the most visceral, most extraordinary way ever. He read all 25 sheets of paper, 24 sheets of paper, out loud to all of us. One student says, take the can of orange juice, throw it in a pitcher, add water, stir. One kid said, go to the freezer, open the freezer, check to see if there's frozen orange juice concentrate. If not, get in the car, go to the supermarket, buy the frozen orange juice concentrate, come back. I mean, every possible way you could imagine it, from take the can opener, open the can, pour the contents out, check to see if the contents have all come out. If the contents are all out, go to the sink, read the instructions, figure out how many ounces of water have to be added to the, I mean, you name the process. You complete 24, 25 kids wrote 24 or 25 completely different approaches to getting a can of frozen orange juice concentrate to become a pitcher of orange juice. We were all 13, 14 years old. We were 12, 11, 12, 13 years old in 7th grade, something like that. In my wildest dreams, I couldn't have imagined 25 ways to make a can of orange juice become a pitcher of orange juice. Couldn't imagine it. And there it was in all its glory. So I challenge you. There are however many of you are out there listening right now. Take a piece of paper out and tell me by hand, not by computer, not by AI, not by some technical wizardry, the way you personally would sit down with 100 social media posts and determine which ones are okay and which ones aren't, which shall pass and which shall not, Which shall be flagged? Which shall be warned? Which shall be deleted? And who shall be banned? That's your challenge. Now, there is one other rule. Whatever you do, it needs to scale. And there can be no conditionals. What I mean by conditionals, if this, then that, because that's not how a scalable solution can work. You can't say if it says bad, but bad means good, because bad sometimes means good. So if the movie that they're talking about was really bad, then it means bad. But if the movie you're talking about means good, then the movie was good. And then who sets the parameters for whether the movie's good or bad? What am I talking about? That movie was so bad. Does that mean the movie was bad? In print, in text, in characters, no computer understands the context of that. No one, not a person, understands the context of that. That movie was so bad. Just by itself. On a sheet of paper. By itself. On a computer screen. That movie was so bad. Do I mean that movie was so bad? Or that movie was so bad? Which do I mean? So you can't have a conditional. You have to train this model and yourself to know it when you see it. By context, by definition, all tweets are out of context. How many times have you seen a tweet that says, I agree? And then you go back and try to figure out the thread. Like, what do they agree with? I don't know. They're agreeing with something. But make it easy on yourself. Take the Facebook news feed. Take Instagram posts if you like. Look at TikTok videos, which are really hard to deal with because they have to be converted to something that a computer can understand. But you understand them. So take 100 TikTok posts and figure out how you'd sort those out. Then you're going to get a feel for the size and scope of this problem. Now, just for fun, add in the crazy part. All week, we've been talking about generative AI. For the last few weeks, we've been talking about it. This is the year of artificial intelligence and augmented intelligence. And while there are many, many people very upset about it, and are screaming for regulation, which was not going to happen, at least not the way they expect it to be. No one's banning AI anytime soon. Not going to happen. So what is going to happen? We're going to start to see highly realistic content that we cannot distinguish from our lived experiences mixed into all this mess. You're really going to have to look to see if that photo is fake or that video is fake. You're going to have to work hard to understand who wrote something. This is going to be a hell of a year, folks. Seeing Facebook just say, we don't do that. It's been our long-standing policy. We're just not going to do it. Okay, thank you. You're not going to do it. I get it. Twitter can't do it. They fired everybody. I don't know what TikTok's going to do. I don't know what Instagram's going to do. That's really Meta and Facebook. So I guess the answer is I do know. They're not going to touch it. Crazy times. Crazy times. Crazy times. We can talk a little bit about more AI in a minute. We got another question here. Let's see what this question says. I don't know if I can actually read it. It says, today by 5 p.m. all employees of Twitter are obligated to swear allegiance to the new Twitter. Yeah. I saw that too. Thank you, Stephen. I don't know. I don't know what's going through the mind of Elon Musk. He definitely is. Oh yeah, here's another question. Same topic, but I don't know if we need to beat this horse to death. Do you know anything about the Twitter verification checkmark? So what I do know about the Twitter verification checkmark is that it was tried earlier in the week, late last week, and of course immediately everybody gamed the system, and you can just go look. Just Google Twitter verification. You'll start laughing out loud. Literally start laughing out loud. Except some of it's not funny. Somebody impersonated the Eli Lilly company and said, "We're giving away insulin for free," and and that's not the worst of it. It's way worse than that. I said weeks ago, as soon as he took over, and he started announcing that he was going to sell verification, that there was nothing good that could possibly happen there. some people pushed back and said, well, what if it's KYC and you got to put your driver's license in and you have to put your passport in and whatever. And yeah, I mean, that, it's possible that you could make a decent KYC system and then they would be in the identity business as opposed to Twitter being in the anonymity business. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case when they started the test. They pulled that. Now, as of this morning, the press release I saw, which may or may not still be valid because it's 4 hours later and you just don't know, is that November 29th is the date today of the recording. Today is the 16th of November. So a couple weeks out, and we're going to, he said that they're going to get the verification thing right. Okay, I don't know what that means either. I don't think anybody knows what that means, but right. I think as long as you can buy verification, there's nothing about it that can possibly be right. If they're going to do two-step where you get an official thing and then you have to buy your verification, then why isn't that just a subscription fee? Like I have no idea what they're thinking. I don't think they know what they're thinking. I got a call this morning from somebody who works at Twitter who very rare do I get phone calls. Like that's pretty old school. People text, people email. Phone calls, my friends, my contemporaries will occasionally call me, but even they know not to do that. I got a call this morning, a friend of mine who's an engineer at Twitter, who basically told me that, how do I put this in the polite way? The inmates are running the asylum and there's nothing anyone can do about it. So that was firsthand report from someone who might just be pissed off from being tortured for 2 weeks. He's been there 5 years. Solid 10x engineer, really good friend, who just said, this is like, there's every day it's a forced march towards something completely different. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. This is with a this is a topic du jour. We can throw this question up. Is SBF going to jail? SBF, of course, is Sam Bankman-Fried, who may be Sam Bankman-Fried at this point. I don't know. Is he going to jail? That's not for me to decide, but it is very clear. And I mean, it is abundantly clear that the great crypto crisis of 22, which is we're in the middle of right now, BlockFi is going to buy it this week. They're going to file for Chapter 11. FTX already has. There are 1 million customers that are going to be screwed by this guy. There are an inordinate number of creditors in the bankruptcy proceeding. The bankruptcy not only was FTX and FTX US and Alameda, however they pronounce it, Research, their market-making hedge fund, which they should never have had tied into all of this. This is horrifying. And there's 130 other companies are listed in the bankruptcy filing. I read through some of it and just got bored and kind of went, okay, I get it. It's like a laundry list. Public record, you can go find it if you want it. So the aftermath of this is that ETH is at $1,211. Matic is at 89.4 cents, and Bitcoin is somewhere in the, where is Bitcoin right now? 16,570. I mean, seriously. It was coming back nice, too. Some people are calling this the FTX contagion. A lot of people have asked me if this is the end of crypto or some other such nonsense. Like, is crypto over? No, crypto is not over. There was a cycle that happened at the beginning of the web, and Gartner calls it the hype cycle. I think that's a great way to describe it. We do have hype cycles, and but I think there was a cycle here from the very, very, very beginning of crypto. My experience with cryptocurrency goes back, I want to say, the end of 2008, the beginning of 2009, when I read my first read of the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper, which you can read. It's at bitcoin.org. I don't remember how long after that I started mining. There wasn't any commercial software available till close to 2011, but I think I started mining Bitcoin somewhere towards the end of 2009 or the beginning of 2010. It was technical. It was hard. It was fun. I mean, really fun. And it didn't mean anything because there was nothing you could do with your Bitcoins. It wasn't until February of 2011. I remember that date pretty well because that's the date that I ended up buying a slice of pizza for 4 Bitcoin, a slice of the Diet Coke across the street for 4 Bitcoins, the only outflow of Bitcoins ever in any of my mining wallets. So, yeah, that was an exciting time. But everybody in it was a complete and total geek. I don't think I knew anybody in the community at that point that was there to get rich. Everyone was there just to understand it. And there was a real, true, honest, stick it to the man, we're going to build our own world of decentralized finance, secure, trustless, like all those words meant something 2011, 12, 13, 14. Wasn't until we got a little crazy. I think the Mt. Gox thing scared everybody. It was realized, wait a minute, there's a lot of money, there's going to be scammers. And ultimately, it has become a haven for as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say, thieves and villainy, a more wretched hive of thieves and villainy you will not find. This is Mos Eisley. It is. And we live there. So now we've just seen yet another example of not only pure greed, but criminal intent. And I will be surprised, I mean truly surprised, if Sam Bankman-Fried and some of his colleagues don't end up in jail. They might not, but what they've done is purely criminal, and it has set back the industry quite a bit. While that's happened, Nike just announced they're going to get their NFT platform online. And in case you're like wondering, is crypto over? Oh, au contraire. U.S. banks just announced that they're going to launch their digital dollar blockchain pilot. What does that mean? Well, this is going to be a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. You got HSBC, MasterCard, and Wells Fargo getting together. It's a test. They're going to do a thing called the RLN. And the RLN is a initialism for the Regulated Liability Network. The goal of this is to create a central bank digital currency. Now, this is a 12-week test. It isn't going to be anything more than that. The Fed is involved. You got some banks involved. What is a CBDC? I have an article at shellypalmer.com that goes something like this. Beware, crypto is a catch-all phrase. So when you say, is crypto over, you got to say, what kind of crypto? Like, what kind of crypto do you mean? Do you mean, is Bitcoin over, the grandparent of all coins? No, of course it isn't over. It's the most secure, oldest grandparent of all cryptocurrency. All Bitcoin are cryptocurrency, but all cryptocurrency is not Bitcoin. Definitely not. And everything that's not a Bitcoin, you want to be calling an altcoin, right? That's because there's about 19,000 cryptocurrencies. Only Bitcoin is Bitcoin. So the most popular of the altcoins is ETH, the utility token of the Ethereum mainnet. So that ain't going anywhere anytime soon. That's all just the utility token. If you're going to validate a block, you're going to get paid for the validation, for the resources you spend. You're going to get paid for the stake that you have put down to stake your ability to be a validator. That's the value that you're going to be paid for, the value you create with ETH, the utility token of the Ethereum mainnet. Now, I should preface, or I should actually just very clearly state that this is not financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. And should you want to invest in crypto, I would strongly suggest you seek the counsel of a licensed financial advisor because, you should. Crypto is inherently risky and you can lose all of your money. So please, this is just for your entertainment and information. Moving on. Dash has forked Bitcoin. They thought before the Lightning Network, wow, we'll make spendable Bitcoins. We'll fork the Bitcoin and blockchain, and we will create a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. What do they really become? They became a kind of a privacy coin, which was interesting. Privacy coins, when you think of all the bad stuff, you're thinking about privacy coins, Monero being the thing. Is Monero cryptocurrency? Yes. Is all cryptocurrency Monero? No. Monero's foundational principles are 100% about being private, relentless pursuit of privacy. Protect the privacy of each wallet, protect the privacy of each transaction. That's all it's about. When you think about sex trafficking and arms to the enemy and money laundering, you're thinking about Monero. You're also thinking about just private transactions, which is like everything I do, I don't need everyone to know about. If I want to go down to the corner newsstand and buy myself 2 Kit Kat bars, because to be fair and frank, I shouldn't eat any Kit Kat bars, why can't that be a private transaction? Every private transaction is not nefarious. It's just private. So privacy coins exist, and there's plenty of them. They're all cryptocurrency, but all cryptocurrency is not privacy coins. Bringing us to stable coins. Stable coins are pegged to fiat currency or other physical assets that shore up their value. So anybody, I could issue a Shelly coin stable coin. You could issue your stable coin. All it is something that's backed. It could be backed by US dollar, could be backed by an ounce of gold, like the PAX stuff is. USDC, USDT, which is Tether, BUSD, Binance's stable coin. There's stable coins. All stable coins are cryptocurrency. Clearly, all cryptocurrency, not stable coins. Clearly. Which brings us to central bank digital currencies issued by the federal government, 1-to-1 equal to a US dollar. Why do they need to do that? The Fed has a pretty decent statement about why they need to do that. If you go to shellypalmer.com and you read the article called Beware, Crypto is a Catch-all Phrase, you will learn all about how the Fed differentiates between the digital money we use every day for our online banking and what a CBDC would be. And that is how we get to this test right now of the RLN, the Regulated Liability Network, and this test of a central bank digital currency, a US dollar coin that will be crypto. It's definitely going to be crypto. It'll be on a blockchain, but all crypto clearly isn't that. So when you say, is crypto over, what crypto do you mean? By the way, the Chinese have a digital yuan that they've been working with for quite some time. All of these coins I've been showing you are coins, they all look like this, right? They don't look like this. That's not crypto. Like, that's just some artist's rendition of something that you'd think of as a coin. Coins look like this. They're just numbers on a contract on a blockchain. They're just data, a small amount of data on a blockchain. So I think that's really important to bring up, because I don't want anyone thinking there's any coins of the realm. There are none. There's just blockchains with contracts on them. So at the end of the day, we're at a place now where when you ask a question like, is this the end of crypto? First of all, you got to tell me what crypto you mean, because crypto writ large ain't going anywhere. You got CBDCs, they're stable coins, which are backed and pegged by other assets. You've got privacy coins, which have a role in the world. They are hard to find. They are hard to trade. They have to be mostly traded on decentralized exchanges, trustless environments that are far more adherent to the foundational principles laid out in the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper than they are the foundational principles that will be laid out at the federal government's website or at the Federal Reserve Bank's website talking about their version of a CBDC, because there the foundational principles are going to be matching a dollar 1-for-1 and making them interchangeable with US dollars, with greenbacks. So they're both cryptocurrencies, but they have nothing to do with one another. Are we ever going to see a currency issued by Shelly coin, John coin, Harry coin, Alan coin, Michael coin? Are we ever going to see a coin like that is just used as a unit of account and a method of exchange, storing some value somewhere? Yeah, maybe. Is it going to be freely spent at Burger King and Macy's and McDonald's? I don't know. But it'll be a cryptocurrency. Will that come or go? Hard to say. This technology absolutely will not be put to sleep. You cannot, to use a dumb metaphor, put the toothpaste back in the tube or the genie back in the bottle. Not happening. As I've said a million times, and I'm going to continue to say it, and I believe this, and I can be totally wrong. It's one man's opinion. So this is not the rule of law. This is not some delusion that I have. This is just what I believe. I believe that in the early 80s, information was democratized with the advent of the personal computer. I believe that in my heart, and I have evidence to back it up. I know for a fact that prior to me getting an Apple II Plus, I would stand online and or make an appointment to get to the computer center where I could either run my punch cards or run my program if I had it in a different format. You needed to go to a computer center to get computer time. And the more complex the calculations, the harder it was to get time, or the more expensive it was if you had to go buy it. I got my Apple II Plus computer. It had 8K of RAM and 140K floppy disk, and it ran DB Master as a database, and it ran VisiCalc as a spreadsheet, and it ran Apple Pie as a word processor. Those are 3 functions that my computer that I'm sitting at right now still has. Spreadsheets, databasing, and word processing. Got it. Hasn't changed. I actually don't write 1 word per minute faster on this massive, ridiculous $25,000 rig than I did on my Apple II Plus, because I can only type 65, 70 words a minute. That's what I can type. I don't type any faster. I do more complex calculations in Excel because it's a more complex, it's a better program that's evolved over 40 years. But making a spreadsheet is the same exact process. And reference cells, it's the same process. Do I do it any faster? No, I still have to think about it. Does it calculate faster? Of course it does. That's the speed. But the fundamental democratization of information happened that day. It was that day. Wow, look at this. I don't know how to use it. I'll learn how to use it. This changes everything. Now I have email. Now I've got bulletin boards. Now I've got like all these things that didn't exist. They were science fiction, became possible, not just by me, but the network effect took place and everybody got the capability, and it was amazing. And we are living in a world that was built by the democratization of information. And by the way, not all of it was good. As we started this the conversation today, talking about like censorship and content moderation and free-for-alls and all the stuff that's bad about having every ounce of information democratized. But it is democratized. And on balance, I consider the problems with content moderation rich person's problems. Look at the wealth, the amazing amount of data. Everybody gets to say what they want to say. Everybody gets to weigh in. Some people are out of their minds. That's my opinion. You're crazy. Your opinion might be that I'm crazy. That's all good. All that's going to sort itself out. The magic happened when information was democratized. Fast forward to 2008, 2009, to the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper, the advent of Bitcoin. That is the beginning of the democratization of finance. For the first time ever, you do not need to be a government or a tyrant or a Caesar or a military junta or any other kind of special human being with special military or granted powers from the electorate. Anybody sit down and say, I can create a store of value, a unit of account, and a method of exchange. I can do it right now. And I have smart contracts which will execute automatically in the currency that I've just created. How could I change the way the world does business if I invented a business that would profit and prosper in a trustless environment that was global, that went 24 hours a day, and I could control the finances? I could invent how we would exchange value. I could invent how we will account for it and how we will store that value. Who's going to stop that? Nobody. Nobody. It's not getting stopped. It will change. It will evolve. It will metamorphose. It will do all kinds of things. Stop? No. It's going to take a lot more than Sam Bankman-Fried. A lot more. It's going to take a lot more than Mt. Gox. It's going to take a lot more than the Terra Luna Foundation blowing up. It's going to take a lot more than the SEC weighing in or the CFTC weighing in or Treasury weighing in. It's going to take more than the World Economic Forum pontificating. It's going to take more than the Biden administration asking the government agencies that might be in a position to regulate. It's going to take all of that and more to rein this in, if they can. And if we've learned anything at all about information technology and data, which was the tool set that empowered the 1980s explosion of democratized information. Democratized finance is also just a monstrous data set. Data will not be contained. It's going to be generated. The volume and velocity of data that we create as humans will increase and will always increase. It's increasing and will always increase. There's no way around it. The volume and velocity of data is increasing and will always increase. There is no version of the world where tomorrow there's less data than there is today. What you do with it, how you turn that data into action, how you make that actionable, that's a big deal. The rest of this, total nonsense. Let's see. We got one last question here from Jonathan C. What happens to Bitcoin if the price falls below the marginal price of electricity used in mining? So that's a great question. It's not a good question. It's a great question. And almost all Bitcoin mines right now are commercial operations because it is really difficult for a normal person with one or two computers or even a half a dozen computers. It's not unheard of, but it's really difficult for you to mine a Bitcoin on your own. Your chances of it are not great. And that will cost you more electricity than it's worth. So if you're doing it at all, you're doing it for educational or recreational purposes. You're not doing it to make any money. I think when that happens, if it happens, it will be temporary, because I don't suspect that Bitcoin will become that inexpensive. And if it does, I think the market will answer with Bitcoin miners going out of business, the ones that are left figuring out how to become more efficient or not. And, that's what I think is going to happen. What I also think is going to happen is, and what people I don't believe have a clue about, is that all of the generative AI that we didn't get to talk about today uses the same GPUs and tons more energy. So as we get into this augmented reality world and as we get into this world of generative AI, where everything is being created in streaming data modes and we are modeling everything and building, you're going to see, if you thought cryptocurrency mining used electricity, wait till you see this. So when the miners can't mine Bitcoin, my guess, John C., is that they will reallocate their machinery to AI, because all the GPU miners will already have all the equipment they need to do all of the AI rendering that they need in the world. And we'll see. We will see. The algorithm does adjust itself, by the way. So less miners, less difficulty, more. We'll have to see. It's a really great question. I don't have a solid hook for it, but a solid answer for it. But I will tell you that from an electricity perspective, we're about to see an explosion in the uses of electricity that I don't think people are expecting. And I think some of the ASIC mines will, I guess, go out of business, because those are machines that are tuned and built. This hardware specifically built to mine Bitcoin, like 100% fine-tuned to mine Bitcoin. So we'll see. But I'm not sure that that's going to happen. And if it does, like I said, the vast majority of people who mine any coins with GPUs definitely have a place to get some love, because so many people are going to need to run things like Stable Diffusion. By the way, next week, next show, I'm not sure we're doing one next week because it's Thanksgiving, but next show, I'm going to take you through installing Stable Diffusion and creating your own, on your own desktop, if you've got a decent graphics card, creating your own instance of Stable Diffusion and learning how to use it, because that is what the cool kids are doing right now. So I will leave you there if I don't speak with you beforehand, and we'll find out if we do. I want to wish everybody a fabulous and wonderful and happy Thanksgiving, a safe and healthy holiday season. I will be back either next week or the week after. I'm not sure. It all depends on my schedule. And I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so very much. Oh, one last thing before I go, and I think just one last thing. I always want to say this. Don't forget, shellypalmer.com/POAP, and you'll get your POAP. That's your proof of attendance protocol token for today. And yeah, I hope you'll grab it. I hope to see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much.